In the headlines, Governor Wike denies suit against Atiku, PDP, others. President Buhari launches National Crisis Management Doctrine. Bandits kill 2 vigilante members in Federal Capital Territory. And away from Nigeria, Germany suspends military in Mali over diplomatic tension. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Dashan Hussaina Usman. We begin with politics, where Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has denied instituting a legal suit seeking to remove Atiku Abubakar as the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party for the 2023 general elections. Reports emerged on Friday that Wike and another party chieftain, Nugent Ekamon, had asked Abuja Federal High Court to order his declaration as the presidential candidate of the PDP. PDP presidential primary produced Atiku Abubakar as the presidential candidate with 371 votes against Wike, who came second with 237 votes. Abubakar snubbed Wike to pick Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa as his running mate. In the suit marked FHC ABJ CS 7822022, Wike and a PDP chieftain, Nugent Ekamon, are listed as the plaintiffs. The PDP is listed as the first respondent, while the Independent National Electoral Commission is the second respondent. Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal and Atiku are listed as the third and fourth respondents. Wike, however, disowned the suit, describing it as the handiwork of mischief makers who wanted to use him to score cheap political goals. The governor said the lawyers who filed the suit are known to him, so he queried filing a suit 14 days after the primary.
Before I go into that, let me say, and to let Nigerians know, that people have called me throughout this morning, all kinds of things, that I went to court against Atiku Abubakar. I want to say categorically, if I had reason to go to court, I would go to court. But I didn't go to court. I just have to say it for Nigerians to know. I have kept quiet and busy delivering dividends of democracy. For my party to win an election in Rivers State, people are busy plotting how they win an election. Rather, our people are busy trying to see how they will lose the election. If they lose the election, nobody should call my name. I have told the candidates, you will lose this election, you will win this election, because of people around you. Anybody who knows me knows too well. If I was going to court, I would have gone to court within 2 weeks after the primaries, because it is a pre-election matter. And after 2 weeks, you can't go to court. The legal advisor of the party called me and told me he knows that there's a mischief going on, that he knows me very well. If I'm going to court, it's not those kind of lawyers I would have used. And I don't even know the lawyers. But I want to tell the candidate, it is the candidate group that are doing all these things. Let the world hear. They are the ones plotting all these things, thinking that they will spoil my name. You cannot. Yesterday they said, I removed all PDP flags in Rivers State Government House. We are supposed to be talking about how you win an election. It's not about these rent seekers around people. They are not doing him any favor. Rather, they are trying to make him not to win an election. But if that's what they wish, I wish them good luck.
Elder statesman and Ijaw leader Edwin Clark says inclusivity in the Nigerian political setting is destroyed with APC Muslim ticket. Speaking on Trust TV's Reminiscences, the former federal commissioner said he shared his thought with Senator Kashim Shettima when he visited him in Abuja recently.
You cannot run a government that is not balanced. The Christians, if you take their census, it may even be difficult to know the population of the Muslim and the population of the Christians. You will now add middle belt. So, therefore you cannot ignore one of saying that you will have a Muslim. So we argued, I said, you spend 1 billion naira on rebuilding churches. And that money belongs to the people of Borno State. So if you have no regard for church, for the Christianity, why did you waste the money?
Watch out for the full interview on Saturday by 7 p.m. Still in politics, Kaduna State governorship candidate of the New Nigerian People's Party, Suleiman Hunkuyi, said neglecting community policing and non-involvement of traditional rulers in the security architecture contributes to the deterioration of security in Kaduna State and Nigeria. Hunkuyi said this at a press briefing in Kaduna, saying the Muslim ticket of the ruling APC in Kaduna State and at the national level will not work.
Senator Suleiman Hunkuyi was an ally of Governor Nasiru El-Rufai before his defection to NNPP. He said insecurity is allowed to fester because of neglect of community policing. He said failure by the relevant authorities to involve traditional rulers in matters of security in Kaduna State also contributed to worsening the situation.
The issue of security is community-based. Part of what caused the problem and is still causing the problem is you remove community leadership. How many village heads were hitherto by this government removed from office? How many district heads were removed from office? They have a contribution to make. Problem of our youth. Lack of engagement. Part of the security apparatus in community policing must recognize the abundance of this youth.
Senator Hunkuyi also said APC Muslim ticket is dead on arrival.
You cannot finish raking the economy of a nation the way APC does, and today come with the issue of religious. It won't work. It can't work. It's not correct. It won't sail through.
Senator Hunkuyi further appealed to the people of Kaduna State to remain law-abiding and avoid violence in the build-up to the elections. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
President Muhammadu Buhari has launched the National Crisis Management Doctrine, which was developed to bridge the gap between or created by extensive deployment of security services through fostering collaboration amongst ministries, departments, and agencies. Speaking at the launch at State House Abuja on Friday, the president described the feat as a significant milestone in recognition of the need for collective efforts towards achieving coordinated, effective, and efficient national crisis management. Kehinde Amudu reports.
The National Crisis Management Doctrine, which was developed by the Office of the National Security Advisor, is expected to ensure greater successes in tackling national crises. The governments of Britain and the United States collaborated in the development of the doctrine, which provides a detailed methodology for national crisis response. President Buhari says the explosion of insecurity across Nigeria in the past 7 years has stretched the deployment of resources and the national security apparatus, which is why this doctrine is necessary.
Nigeria was faced with multiple security challenges ranging from terrorism, kidnapping, armed banditry, ethnic militia attacks, oil theft, rape, gun running, and various acts emanating from violent extremism. The emergence of the Boko Haram terrorists group, as well as bandits and kidnappers in Nigeria, considerably changed the country's security situation, leaving panic in the minds of the populace.
The president says the document demonstrates the renewed promise and commitment of this administration to manage crisis in the country.
I am delighted to state that this is a significant milestone in recognition of the need for our collective efforts towards achieving coordinated, effective, and efficient national crisis management.
National Security Advisor Babagana Mongunu is confident that with the general principles set out within it, the document will provide the necessary response to malicious threats and civil emergencies.
These work streams are aimed at building resilience to mitigate the impact of terrorist attacks and to develop a framework for the mobilization and coordinated cross-governmental efforts. Accordingly, the purpose of the National Crisis Management Doctrine is to provide the framework for multi-agency response to national crisis while fostering collaboration and interoperability.
Owing to the dynamics of insecurity, the Office of the National Security Advisor revised the National Counter-Terrorism Strategy to the National Crisis Management Doctrine. It also upgraded work streams from 5, namely forestall, secure, identify, prepare, and implement, to 2 components, prepare and implement. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amudu, Trust TV News.
Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustapha, has encouraged state governments to key into the Open Government Partnership Initiative to enhance transparency and accountability in governance. He stated this during the second quarterly meeting of Secretary to Government of the Federation and Secretary to the State Government held at the Unity Hall Government House, Asaba. The report.
It is the second quarterly meeting of Secretary to Government of the Federation and Secretaries to State Governments, with the theme, Democratic Governance and Sustainable Development in Nigeria. Boss Mustapha said the federal government is collaborating with the OGP initiative to improve accountability and transparency of government procurement process through the implementation of open contracting and public participation in the public contracting process.
We are all aware of the economic challenges presently in our nation and globally. Nevertheless, governments both at the federal and state levels have, through a number of policies and interventions, been working to promote inclusive economic growth, empowerment, and business opportunity for the citizens.
Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Patrick Oka, commended the federal government for continuous engagement through this forum, stressing the need to identify opportunities in key sectors of the economy in order to achieve sustainable development goals.
Indeed, democratic governance is paramount for the attainment of sustainable development, and we must not lose sight of this focus. Therefore, we must uphold our democratic norms, deliberate deployment of political will, and administrative expertise.
Director General of the Industrial Training Fund, Joseph Ari, in his presentation, highlighted ways the federal government can improve on implementing its policies and programs in the areas of job creation and youth empowerment.
Low economic growth, social-political instability, youth restiveness of prostitution, banditry, armed robbery, etc., etc. Next. So to address these setbacks, the acquisition of technical and vocational skills with entrepreneurship often serves as a panacea to unemployment problems.
The quarterly meeting strives to build the required synergy between the federal and state government to improve relationship between them.
Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State, Chris Finebone, has resigned from the party and defected to the ruling PDP in the state. Senebo Chris Finebone, who confirmed his defection to PDP to a reporter in the early hours of Friday, did not give any reason for his defection. Shortly after he defected, Finebone paid a visit to Governor Nyesom Wike's Ada George Road residence in Port Harcourt in company of the former state chairman of the APC, Dr. David Zikanya, and PDP governorship flag bearer, Simelanayi Fubara. Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State, Chris Finebone, has resigned from the party. In crime, police have rescued a prominent businesswoman in Osun State, popularly known as Ero Arike. The woman was kidnapped at Olorunda village while on a visit to her aged mother. The men of the anti-kidnapping squad of the Osun State Police Command engaged the kidnappers in a gun duel and arrested 3 while others escaped. Police Public Relations Officer Osun Command Yemisi Okpalola confirmed the incident and assured that the suspects will be arraigned in court after investigation. Speaking after she was rescued, the traumatized businesswoman expressed gratitude and appealed to the state government and police to ensure proper investigation and prosecution of the suspects.
They were in the bush. Few minutes after I entered the house, 2 men came in. They covered their faces. They took me into the bush. I was shouting for help. Policemen came on time. The man that carried me kept running into the bush. One of the policemen shot him on his leg. Then he dropped me. The policemen arrested some of them. I plead with the police and government to ensure proper investigation and prosecution of this case.
2 vigilante members have been shot dead during a crossfire with bandits at Gasakba communities in Gawu Ward, Abaji Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory. A member of the vigilantes said the incident happened on Thursday at a forest bordering the FCT and Niger State. He said the vigilantes had mobilized to the forest to rescue a farmer who was abducted on the farm. He said the gunmen laid an ambush as the vigilantes were approaching their hideout, where 2 members of the vigilantes were killed during exchange of fire with the bandits. 4 other vigilantes who sustained bullet wounds are receiving treatment at a private hospital in Lambata, Niger State. The FCT Police Command spokesperson, DSP Ade Josephine, is yet to confirm the incident. Goods worth millions of naira have been confiscated in the past 2 months from smugglers. Smuggling is on the rise despite opportunities provided to operate legally at the Jibia border in Katsina State. Abdullahi Ahmadi reports.
Smugglers are choosing to go the wrong way despite reopening of Jibia International Border and policies that have been introduced to improve the ease of doing business. Stakeholders are also not cooperating with authorities by following legal avenues to import goods and services into the country. These smuggled goods have been seized by the Katsina State Command of the Nigeria Customs Service.
By allowing these smugglers, definitely there will never be a time when we'll be able to achieve what we're expecting to achieve here. That's why we put the pressure on suppressing these menace, smuggling of rice and many other things, especially the food items, so that we'll be able to produce ours in our country and be able to feed our nation.
The command also intercepted some 450 bags of potash and 13 bags of tiger nut, valued at over 2 million naira.
Now, when we come to the revenue collection, we told this in the last time when the presidency in their effort to ease the people's predicament, Jibia border was among the 4 that were open, and almost this about 3 months ago. Now we've started receiving collecting the revenue as well as promoting the export, both import and export activities. So the revenue in the period under review witnessed a decline simply because we have some instant attacks by the bandits, which put the security under jeopardy, under stress position.
To discourage smuggling, vehicles used in conveying the contraband into the country will no longer be spared.
They now brought the strategy of eliminating these particular vehicles, the George 504, on the exits along the customs state. That's why today, if you look at the auction, they were auctioned out to them. Most of them, almost all, if not all, were auctioned to $1 million companies for what? Production of other items of benefit to Nigerians.
Authorities are determined to assist businessmen and women to operate within guidelines. They underscore on the global best practices. But all forms of shortcuts in import and export of goods and services will not be tolerated. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
August 12th is set aside for youths all across the world to be celebrated, which will go a long way for them to be good ambassadors of the country at all times. Kabiru Lawan speaks to some youths in the Federal Capital Territory who said government should provide enabling environment for the youths to showcase their God-given talent. The report.
International Youth Day is an awareness day designated by the United Nations. The message this year is that for the Sustainable Development Goals SDGs to be achieved, the world needs to leverage the full potential of all generations. In other words, solidarity across generations is key to sustainable development, and no one should be left behind. To achieve this objective, governments must make the youths more productive and support them to do more for the country.
As we speak, due to the condition of the country at the moment, I know what happens in the mind of every youth these days is that later they get up from their bed, they start going out to hustle for what they want to eat. I think that comes first in their mind, and basically, I've not even seen enough advert or stuff like that, putting on the wave to show that such event is coming up.
Some know and some don't know. Why? Is because most time, youths are not often carried along whenever the government wants to do anything. They don't carry us along, so some people don't even care. Some youth don't care about the day. I know about the day. I know today is the International Youth Day, but plenty of people don't know.
One of the glaring dysfunctions that has impacted negatively on the youth is the lingering ASUU strike.
Government or federal government don't carry us along because they don't know that youth exist. Understand? If the youth exists, at least anything that I put in the budget, they always put the youth forward because they said you are the leader of the tomorrow. And it is now, they are the leaders, we are not the...
For the ASUU strike, I will say it's a very painful thing. I feel pain every day because I know, as a matter of fact, it's one area that has shown how our government has failed woefully. Education is the foundation of development. And if you get it wrong from your educational level, I tell you, there's no way we can do better. And that's why we are facing what we are facing today.
The youth is looking to governments to provide the essential tools that will enable them to achieve their potential goals. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break. How graduate turns shoemaker. Do stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Let's take a look at some of our top stories. We told you that Governor Wike denies suit against Atiku, PDP, others. You also heard that President Buhari launches National Crisis Management Doctrine. Moving on to more news, stakeholders have stressed the need for step-up campaigns to encourage nursing mothers practice exclusive breastfeeding for effective growth of the child. They say breast milk provides the right amount of nutrients and is easily digested. The report.
As a way of nurturing healthy children devoid of early-stage illness, mothers have been urged to practice exclusive breastfeeding for at least 6 months. According to experts, the vital nutrient from breast milk is important for the growth of a child. At a road sensitization awareness campaign in Port Harcourt, organized by the Rivers State Ministry of Health in collaboration with the World Health Organization, also stressed that breastfeeding is of great value to mothers' health. The state coordinator of WHO, Bosede Ezekwe, said exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months is a well-recognized childhood survival strategy aimed at reducing under-5 mortality rate.
We are in an era where we are faced with a lot of challenges. There is food shortage, there are diseases that are emerging, and so we need to have our immunity boosted. And the best way to achieve that is to start a child early in life by breastfeeding that child exclusively so that the child gets the needed immunity to fight these diseases, and also ensuring that the child is adequately immunized. My final message to mothers is to ensure exclusive breastfeeding for their babies from birth up to 6 months, and for families to provide the necessary support for mothers and the society, whether workplace, whether worship centers, whether the marketplace, business areas, provide an enabling environment for mothers to comfortably breastfeed their babies so that we do not break the chain of building the immunity of the child.
With the high unemployment rate in the country, youths are often advised to learn skills that will enable them to be self-reliant rather than rely on government. Daniel Isaac, a young graduate, is one of those that heeds the advice of learning shoemaking during his NYSC, but with the high inflation and unfavorable business environment, his hopes of growing a viable business is fading.
Into shoemaking after his National Youth Service 4 years ago, and this is where he resumes for work every morning.
2018/2019, I did my youth service in Akwa Ibom. It was through that year that I learned the shoemaking. And my uncle here in Abuja rented this place for me. He gave me this place to start with. So I started the shoemaking with the money I got from my youth service.
But like many entrepreneurs in Nigeria, Daniel is struggling to remain in business amidst the energy crisis and poor infrastructure.
And with this, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Dashin Husseina Usman. Thanks for watching.